there's been storylines for AZ, but I feel like it's always been the storylines for these players that come from everywhere and may not be known to make their name, right? That's what it's been always about. You get so many people to come here because they know Rivals is the game here, right? Yes. It is our featured event. It's a grassroots event. They want to support the scene. And because of that, you get people coming here out of the woodworks that we may have never seen, making incredible runs. Bono making an incredible run against Elpie. Elpie himself making a run against MSB. You know, some of these players that may not be expected to make it far, make it into top 16, doing incredible stuff right before top 16. Spiker, you can't say it enough. But now we're getting on to our next set.
Yeah, I mean, everything you said can apply directly to these two. Elkies and PlushyPanic, both phenomenal performances at Riptide not that long ago. But Plushy both of these two dropping out before the top 8 finish, dropping out before that like really true like on-stage final flash. And they're going to have to go through each other in order to make it to that final day. A truly rough thing, but that's, you know, sometimes brackets can be harsh.
And I was told by Elkies earlier that these two have played a lot, and Elkies has nothing but respect for a player like Plushy. And truthfully, you know, when you see a player like Plushy who's pioneering a character, right? How can you have anything but respect? To take a new character, you know, one that has been shown to have results, right? But a lot of those results are by Plushy, right? She's making the statement that this character can do it, and that takes some goal.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things that put Plushy on the map for maybe a lot of viewers and a lot of people across the Rivals viewership has been, like, she took Cake 3-2 back at said Riptide. Like, it lost the set, but it's hard. It's hard to take games and win multiple games on the top 3 right now, and it is.
And she's consistently found herself high placing at nearly every tournament she's been in. I can't think of a time since her ascension, maybe roughly like a year ago, that she has flopped out of a tournament, right?
True.
She always performs, and even against the best of players she's performing, and right now she's taking a bit of a lead, but Elkies, no slouch either. Recently taking a Grass Leads tournament, I forget which one it was exactly, but always one on people's radar, and always one willing to switch it up, right? We see the Crag. May not be what every player has known Elkies for, but it is certainly something worth, you know, talking about.
Yeah, I mean, she's putting the pedal to the metal here, keeping things extremely even. Very different set and a very back and forth type of game when it comes to just these single hits. Not a ton of. Oh my god!
Wow, the rock shards all the way up there is going to catch Plushy.
I love the different angles that players will just like slowly experiment with when it comes to like rock and rock shards. Like it's such a unique tool across not just like Rivals, but across like
all the side B. I wonder if that was not what Elkies was intending.
Just easy fair, but the charge dash attack not going to do it here, Schoolie. We're seeing Plushy kind of fall victim to something that she was putting on her previous set, where just like infinite survival, living until 200, multiple stocks across the set.
But we're seeing a lot of percent come out, right? Already evening up this percent, now lapping a little bit. This is getting a little scary for Elkies, who started to make that dominant dominant lead during her second stock, right? And now we're seeing it slowly go away, but adding it back up.
Not chasing, keeping things very, very close to the ground is Elkies, and that is exactly why. You know, very seldomly in platform fighters do reliable anti-airs come into play, because aired airs are so much more important, because, I mean, aerials are, especially in Rivals, aerials are extremely, extremely strong.
Absolutely.
But jumping in general is just extremely strong across most platform fighters that are out right now. But there's something to be said about just having that big arcing anti-air. Like when your opponent loves to find ways to come down with active aerials, meet them, trade with them, and blow them out with a nice prominent anti-air.
Yeah, and I mean, the truth is, I mean, talk about, a bit of a taunt coming out. Probably missed him, but
I would think so. Yeah.
You talk about, you know, those anti-airs. When I think of anti-airs, I think of Hodan. And
he's got flash kick.
Yeah, but the truth is, right, you can't forget that a lot of these characters have a lot of good tools themselves. Great up smash, a ton of percent coming out. Waits for the end of that side B, goes for the up B. Not going to kill, but that one will. Goes deep.
It's just lining up. Like, what? It's like 3 times over. You find a charge up B, just finding the angle and or anticipating the button with punish, and perfect setup there from Plushy. Take this lead.
Is a huge lead mounting.
And keep it
Great
rolling.
TI.
We are hunting, and we're swinging as well. Man, Plushy has been going for forward strongs throughout this entire bracket, and honestly, just respectable. Like,
Yeah.
It's a strong button. If you hit it, it's great.
Oh
And
my gosh!
So it's in Cracked Side B's invulnerable, right? But it isn't immune to knockback. You can slow down its momentum if you hit it with something strong enough or potentially disjointed. So you can create weird stuff like that.
Yeah. This Tempest pick, it is worth noting, it's a common ban against this Hodan, and it's honestly not for the reason we've been seeing. One thing that you can find is if you get that up smash read onto those side platforms, it can end up just taking a stock literally at any percent and just galaxing. But we haven't even seen that from Plushy. Just these raw chases all the way up into the top of this blast zone. And that was a 3-stock.
That's how you draw it up.
Yeah, I think we're going to see an Elkie switch because that was dominance incarnate.
It's hard to say. Like, switching makes sense, right? As we see Elkies go back to the character that they are more known for.
Yeah.
But it's hard to say exactly sometimes, like, oh man, I got 3-stock. That means it's like this set's been so dominant, or they really figured me out. Sometimes it's true, but sometimes, like in a very explosive game, or in a very explosive character like Hodan, sometimes your stocks just melt, and you're like, all right, you know, it happens. Like,
and that's rivals, right? I mean, for a lot of these characters, in a lot of these players, the combo routes are so fine-tuned that a couple of the correct reads can just be stock openings, right? Look at players like Cake Assault that will simply just take stocks at 30 and even up games that you thought they had no right to because they recognize wrong DI in a second, right?
Yep.
So you are absolutely right, but this would not be a set if we never saw the Elkies Maple, right?
Yeah.
That is what many players know her for, and it is known phenomenally not just for being a constant threat, for playing the character in an entirely unique way. Elkies Maple is not Maple. Elkies is her own character.
But all characters fall to the charged up B at absurdly low percents. Ooh, tough.
Bit of an SD forced out there.
Unforced error, man. They prove dividends.
They catch everyone off guard, especially this late at night. Everyone's been here for a while. Okay, the double trade with the up B1. Oh, this is a hard spot to be in, but Monkey, so many resources, goes for that re-wrap. What Elkies is known for, just keeps getting them.
I love it. It's just comedy.
It looks so silly, but she is so good at it. And the minute changes that she goes for, she doesn't just go for re-wraps, she goes for different re-wraps.
And that's you accrue so much damage against a character that, like, you're not always living with highest of base knockbacks. You're reliant on that knockback growth to really close out stocks. And at 160, you're like a tether into a Nair might even do it at these percentages. You just gotta be a little bit extra careful. Going for the fair instead.
Does close it out. That took a lot longer and tacked on a lot more percent, and that could honestly already be evened. Not quite. Wow, the sour spot of up B gonna still do it all the way up there. Maple is fairly light, and you know, you put in all that effort, you got all those reads on Maple, right? But Hodan is just racking up that percent. No resources, gets back to stage. That was actually a great recovery.
Yeah, this is Plushy no panic, honestly, because we're seeing
no panic.
Like, we're just keeping things simple. If we gotta make the plays, we absolutely will. She is letting it rip and seeing that Elkies is taking their time a little bit more. You're forcing this extra bit of pressure just by the raw threat range of.
Wow, that up B catches.
Letting it rip. She's lining up the shots and taking them.
Every single time. Every single time that Elkies was above Plushy, it was punished.
I'm going up.
It was punished.
Like, you're not prepared to try and evade this as I line my goddamn homing missile straight at you. The homing missile that is Hodan's body.
And when you do it with the Sweat Spirit, you're not even in a punishable state off of it.
Exactly. And
the sky's the limit.
And Maple already doesn't have a lot of horizontal air acceleration to go on, reliant on those dashes. And what is Elkie going to do? Dash willy-nilly, anticipating to be anti-aired randomly and spontaneously? That's a hard decision to make in the moment.
The tech chase right now is going crazy for PlushyPanic. Good DI on that down B to not get caught by an up B after. Edge guard is going to be the result. Goes for a rewrap, and this is what we're starting to see, but okay, does keep it going, keeps the edge guard going, gets the wrap. Big fair coming out, big F smash, the percent is adding up. Goes a little too far though, could be very bad.
Dropping that position for a potential edge guard is certainly a very risky decision, and one that is not paying off here, Schoolie.
Yeah, and you wonder if elkiies is thinking about how long it took to get some of those stocks in the last game and is getting antsy to close them out, right? We know she has these re-wrap combos, but maybe she doesn't feel confident that those are going to be the stock closers. And, I mean, getting a little antsy against a character like Hodan can end to some very fast stocks.
And what a clean disguise there from Plushy as she finds the parry.
Wow, what a parry punish to not get hit by that early too.
The fact that this high platform is where it is, and Plushy using it as this amazing disguise to either...
Oh, another SD, but that's at 180. That's at 180. The mental damage that does compared to the start of a new stock is very important. But that is signs of life for elkiies, right? She needed something like that.
Yeah. Taking a stock at 180 can be randomly sometimes very difficult, especially for a character like Maple. But now suddenly at 0, you get to combo a monkey again. You get to feel good about yourself.
Yes.
Like just like, all right, I hit this, I got my clean 60.
The dopamine of combo game honestly cannot be underestimated.
Truly can't. Like just the feel goods of like, yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Mudwave can be quite the
Wow, what a catch that down B to stop the tether, but doesn't get a conversion off of it. These are random F smashes, keeping Maple honest, but that fair is going to do it. That's important.
Tether fair, easy peasy. You put in all of that damage and then dash attack.
Hasn't gotten a single one of these down B parries, I might add. And that has been so pivotal right now for PlushyPanic. She's not only gotten kills, but she's gotten so much percent and so many advantage states off of just throwing out these down Bs in neutral. And elkiies has missed every single one.
Parry root is huge there from Plushy to put on so much damage.
These nairs are coming through.
Oh, missing the flash kick.
Both of these swinging like crazy.
I like how elkiies is even trying to parry some of these mud waves.
Yes.
Like, they're there to dissuade you and to get you off the ground, but it almost seems like a trap almost.
Great parry. Goes for the easy, consistent damage. Very good in an edge guard scenario. This is scary, though. This is scary.
It is over here, Schoolie, because we're getting ourselves another game 5.
I was surprised that up air actually killed. Had the potential DI up to get out, but also had just the DI to the side, right? Hodan that high up, even if, you know, you're going all the way to the side, right? Hodan feels comfortable there, but both...
We weren't even in the bubble.
Yeah.
We were barely reaching the top of the screen.
Yeah. But, I mean, those game 4 nerves, right? Plushy getting a couple of SDs, maybe getting a little off the eyes, and those are going to be saving graces for elkiies. And at the end of the day, it's not just how well you can perform at the top of your level, but how well you can perform throughout the entire set that matters, right? If you can close it out, that's what matters. And elkiies is taking advantage of those mistakes.
100%. It's kept her alive. It's kept her in this set thus far, game 5. Winner moves on to top 16. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's like top 16 at one of the biggest and one of the most beloved, shout out to the Arizona scene, rivals here for tournaments.
Absolutely.
Like, it's quite the notch on the belt.
Yeah, it is certainly. I mean, I feel like we've seen so many players come into Heatwave and make a name for themselves, and then they are constant staples and constant threats, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is sort of the breeding grounds for new top players to make a name and to stay a name, right? And it's not just, you know, the accolade of getting Heatwave onto the RCS ranks, but it's the awareness from other top players to know that you are a threat and to be within the scenes, you know, top echelon of players, because really only the top echelons can make that sort of bracket run at a tournament like this.
This is the start for elkies that you want here. Games 2 through 4 even were very rough around the edges, kind of eking out wins and eking out like advantage in very small situations. But this is an
entirely different story. The Lily almost going to save, but not quite. This is an edge guard scenario, and Plushy needs to start hitting back right now because she has already been left.
Oh, missing the side B
That dash attack catching is so big, but that up B missing is going to let elkies back to stage. And right now, all of these trades not favorable for Plushy. Even though Plushy has the easier percent killing, right now when you're a stock behind, the last thing you want to be doing is just giving this percent over to Maple.
That's the hard part about a character like Hodan, right? Like, at the end of the day, despite all of the advancements and knowledge that Plushy has put into this character, despite all the time that they've put into this character, she is having to contest with the raw fundamental design of Hodan, which is a all-or-nothing, like, big break type character, a grappler without a grab.
Yeah, and I mean, Maple is one of those characters, right? You get high enough percent, if you just add enough percent, eventually a tether confirm will guarantee it. You don't need to execute much beyond a tether fair, right? And a player like elkies, she's going to hit that every time. So if you let too much percent get on board, that could just be all she wrote.
This is big damage here, though.
Yeah,
Plushy,
this has been a big shift.
She's not just shifting style, she's shifted modes entirely. That entire like 30, like maybe not like 15-second sequence was charge fair mode. I know you want to get to center. I know you want to regain comfort. Well, I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Lily interrupting Plushy's combo there. That's actually very big. Was starting to rack some damage up, but doesn't get it out. That being said, we could see another edge guard scenario. That
no,
not like that.
Three stocks throughout the whole turn, throughout the whole
like that.
set.
And you can see neither player wanted it to end that way.
Dude, I am hiding behind my name tag because I am distraught.
And so, for those who have not played Rivals, or for the many more who have not played Hodan, as foolish as that can look, it is incredible how consistent players like Plushy can be.